Happy Halloween, my paisanos. This is Super RJ, and welcome to my Halloween 2017 reviewed. Now today we're gonna review something very special. Another Nickelodeon show that has a brand new special, new Halloween special, and that episode is the SpongeBob SquarePants episode, Legend of Bikini Bottom. That's right, Legend of Bookini Bottom. Now, I want to get this out of the way. I love SpongeBob SquarePants. It's one of my favorite animated shows since growing up. I'm a huge fan of it. In fact, I've seen both the movies and all the seasons of the episodes. And I do agree, ever since when I got into season 6, that SpongeBob has gotten to mediocre. But thankfully, the show has gotten back on its rhythm since the second movie and Hillenburg returned to the show. But that's beside the point. When I heard they're gonna do a new SpongeBob Halloween special, I was really excited to see it. And guess what? They bring it back. Not only they bring in a new SpongeBob Halloween special, but they do it in the original SpongeBob SquarePants stop motion. We haven't seen that in a while since season 8, and that was It's a SpongeBob Christmas special. But the big question is this episode actually truly is a good SpongeBob Halloween stop motion episode, or is The Nightmare Before Christmas the only stop motion film about Halloween? Is the only thing we get to watch, get to enjoy in this episode? Well, let's find out. This is my review of the SpongeBob SquarePants episode, Legend of Bikini Bottom. It starts out as a nice Halloween night where everybody's getting ready for trick or treating, including SpongeBob. As for SpongeBob, he thinks that Halloween is cute, just cute. As for Patrick, he knows this is not scary enough because SpongeBob, he's a gullible goofball idiot, as we know and love. It doesn't make him annoying in this special either, since he has a little bit of a motivation. Anyway, we get some few decent jokes in this episode. I like the part where how Squidward haunted the kids whenever they walk by to his house, saying he has no candies and attacks it with giant rolling onions and all that stuff. Well, let's not forget, SpongeBob is somehow still a scaredy pants. He always gets scared every Halloween, ever since season 1. Even though it kind of makes no sense because he finally scared someone for scaredy pants. Well, I guess he got Halloween's fears back again, I guess. Just like how Mr. Loud was in the Loud House Halloween episode. But anyway, Patrick thinks that the only way to him and SpongeBob have the best Halloween is that he tells them it's just because it's Halloween doesn't mean it's scary. The only thing, because Patrick said the classic line, the only thing you have to fear is yourself. Yeah, and also apparently Patrick gives SpongeBob a really dumb advice about being scared of Halloween. He thinks that being scared of Halloween equals laughter. And guess what? SpongeBob actually does believe this advice. So as you can guess, SpongeBob and Patrick start going around the Bikini Bottom, seeing how their friends are doing for this year's Halloween. They first stop at Sandy, where she do her medieval scientist laboratory tour. And once again, she has some few funny jokes in this, and in the visuals and the animation in this scene is really, really clever. And while this whole thing happening, SpongeBob literally started to laugh some more, and he thinks that Patrick is right, saying that Halloween is funny to go to celebrate. So they head off to the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket, where Mr. Krabs and Plankton have their own attraction, where they try to show everybody how much one of their enemies' restaurant is the scariest. Like Mr. Krabs saying that for example, at the Chum Bucket, Plankton shows SpongeBob Patrick how bad the Krusty Krab is, from the puppetry of Krab, saying what Krabby Patty is really made of, and they all just laugh it out. And I like how they do jokes on that scene. And also it's the first time they get to see what Karen looks like in her Android computer form instead of being stuck on the wall from the SpongeBob Christmas special. And this actually looked very decently. So after that, SpongeBob is still laughing as as he still is, while Patrick is still gets a little bit terrified. But so yeah, everything is going fine with SpongeBob and the rest of everybody. But let's not forget the most important character we all know in any episode of SpongeBob that has something related to Halloween, and that is the Flying Dutchman. Now I'm gonna let's just go ahead and say that I love the Flying Dutchman. He's one of my favorite other supported characters in SpongeBob. I mean, like my other characters of SpongeBob. He's funny. He has a great voice actor. He has a good voice actor to do the voice of him. So, what's his purpose in this episode? Well, apparently he loves Halloween, and he always does love to scare the kids' pants off of them every Halloween. Until he knows that there's laughter on Halloween, he decides to see what's up. He's gonna figure out who's making the laugh, and of course, it's SpongeBob. Now, this is one thing that kind of gets confusing, is that for some reason, SpongeBob and the Flying Dutchman act like they never met before, which is kind of odd, to say at least. But they actually do kind of remember each other. I'm not gonna argue about that. So anyway, the Dutchman tries to show SpongeBob how scary Halloween it really is scary. Scary by going on the ship and show Patrick and Patrick a very spooky ride with all these live action puppets trying to show him how scary Halloween is. And once again, the visual and the animation is absolutely wonderful. Now, I had to say although I do have one problem to say with the animation in this episode, and that is they have a lot of scary moments in this episode. I'm not saying these scary moments in this episode are bad, but the problem is they're just very in your face. Like, seriously, very in your face. Aside from the Flying Dutchman keep making these scary faces, and especially the part when the song sequence in the Dutchman's ship, it was very in your face. Like, they literally have all the puppets that look like they're using them to perform at the Muppet Show, just so they can terrify SpongeBob and us, the audience. Which I know this is a cartoon, but I had to give them a decent job for doing that, to making the puppets and making the visual look amazing, but at the same time, it's still very in your face. It's like they're trying to remind you, hey, this is a Halloween episode. We're gonna try to make you see something that's very scary and stuff. So let's talk about the song where they sing in the part where SpongeBob and Patrick are in the ship. It was actually really a good, decent song, but it's not as good as Luna's song from the Loud House episode Trick. So yeah, after the end of the song, Dutchman knows that SpongeBob is still laughing, and he knows there's one way to scare off SpongeBob, and that is to kidnap all his friends and take in their souls as hostage, which only caused SpongeBob to get really scared after noticing that Patrick was wrong about the whole scaring equals funny. He knows that scaring really means scary. So SpongeBob, of course, runs away. Well, do you know that the Dutchman is about to eat his friends? Yeah, kind of a homage to Shanghai, right? I love that episode. So anyway, SpongeBob tries to fight back by stopping the Dutchman before he eats them. And we get a funny line moment with Plankton and the Dutchman. And then SpongeBob tries to save his friend by using Sandy's robot to stop the Dutchman. But unfortunately, it all fails. Just as the Dutchman is about to win the battle, Plankton tells them that he's actually one thing that got him scared from SpongeBob, and that is inside of his brain. If you know in the second movie, Plankton tries to see if SpongeBob does remember the formula in his brain, but we find out inside his brain, it becomes a really bizarre Wonderland. Not like in Alice in Wonderland, but in SpongeBob's version of Wonderland. And that's what happens in that episode. When the Dutchman decided to check inside SpongeBob's brain to see how scary it is, the animation suddenly turns to, a 4-year-old style of animation in hand-drawn style. It kind of reminds me of a bad animation of Pickle and Peanut, but in a funny way. That's all I can say about that. And it's so getting more. And that scene was SpongeBob's brain scene is getting more bizarre ever since like the second movie in that season 7 episode, The Inside Job. So the Dutchman does really get terrified, as SpongeBob showed the most terrifying thing that SpongeBob ever know. And that is his mom show him some naked photos of him, of SpongeBob when he's naked as a baby, and we had to see SpongeBob as a baby in the nude. I have no comment on that. But anyway, so the Dutchman does have enough of SpongeBob's scariness and decided to leave, which suddenly makes SpongeBob to save all of his friends, and they all started to celebrate. And that's the end of the episode. So, what do I think of this episode? It's actually really funny. It's not super funny, but it's still really funny. Although the story of this episode is basically too simple. It's mostly just SpongeBob and his friends doing some Halloween activities, SpongeBob laughing at these Halloween activities until in the middle of the episode the Dutchman tries to scare SpongeBob, but he's still laughing at it until he finally gets what the true meaning of Halloween really mean. It wasn't that anything special with the characters. I mean, if you look back to It's a SpongeBob Christmas, they actually have a much better story, and they have a nice toned way of how to tell kids about never be drunk on Christmas. Well, here it's just basically showing what do the characters do on Halloween. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just entertaining to see. As for the comedy, I really do love the comedy. I like some of the jokes here. I like how the Dutchman takes Scooter and Mr. Krabs' soul out of their bodies, and then the kids start throwing eggs at Scooter and Mr. Krabs' body while they're unconscious. And I like how Plankton got started turning to Igor, and I had to admit SpongeBob's brain scene is a little bit funny. But as to stand this whole episode, it's a good episode. It's not one of the best Halloween specials, but it's still good. If you might be wondering why I think which one is better, which is Loud House Trick or SpongeBob Legend of Bookini Bottom. Basically, I had to choose I choose Trick because the episode has a decent story, although it's not that special, but it still has some great moments. But as for Legend of Bookini Bottom, it's still a fun ride to see, but at the same time, the animation is nice, but sometimes very in your face. And that's basically all I have to say about this episode. About to say things here. So I hope you guys will enjoy this review, and I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. So long, my paisanos.